Let's talk about a story of a man who felt like he had absolutely nothing. No money, no real future, and honestly, no hope. But then he stumbled upon this one simple habit that he says completely transformed his entire life in just 90 days. And that habit? Waking up at 5 a.m. So how on earth did he pull that off?
It sounds a little too good to be true, doesn't it? I mean, how can just 2 hours really early in the morning actually change a life? Well, that is the core question we are going to unpack right now. And just look at the scale of the change we're talking about here. On one side, you've got Thomas, this trapped, hopeless night guard, and on the other, a confident, successful accountant building a real future. The bridge between these two completely different lives, according to his story, was just 2 hours a day. So let's dig in and see how it happened. All right, first up, let's look at Thomas's life before all this. A life he felt was literally being lived backwards, where he was just surviving, not actually living. So at 32 years old, Thomas was a night guard, and his schedule was just brutal. I mean, he was stuck in this endless loop of working all night from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m., and then sleeping most of the day away. And even though he was working so hard, the low pay and his limited education just left him feeling completely trapped, like the world was moving forward without him while he was just sleeping his life away. And this one question just kept nagging at him. Will this be my life forever? It's a scary thought, and one I think a lot of us can relate to, that fear of being stuck. For Thomas, that feeling of total desperation was about to become his biggest motivator. And that brings us to section 2, the 5 a.m. secret. A family crisis and a totally random encounter were about to show him the magic hours that would change, well, everything. The real turning point, the wake-up call, came from a family crisis. His mother collapsed, and Thomas was hit with this overwhelming feeling of helplessness. Standing outside the hospital at 5 in the morning, in that quiet dawn light, he just made a promise to himself. I will not live like this anymore. And then, almost like fate, on the bus, he meets this successful businessman, a guy named Mr. Chun. And Mr. Chun shares this one piece of wisdom with him. He said, the hours between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. are magic hours. This one simple idea was the first glimmer of real hope Thomas had felt in years. So, what exactly makes them so magic? Well, the magic hours are basically your own personal protected block of time. It's this distraction-free window between 5 and 7 a.m. where you can put all your focus on yourself, on your own growth, while pretty much the rest of the world is still asleep. It's the perfect time to build the skills you need for the future you want. Now, Mr. Chun didn't just give him a cool idea. He gave him a concrete plan, a simple but totally non-negotiable 90-day challenge that promised a complete transformation. And check out this number, 730. That's how many extra hours you get in a single year just by carving out those 2 hours every morning. I mean, that's like adding 3 extra months of productive work time to your year. That's a huge advantage. So what did he actually do in those 2 hours? It was surprisingly simple. Hour 1, from 5 to 6 a.m., was all about building skills, learning one thing that could directly improve his financial situation. Then, hour 2 was for building his body and mind, 30 minutes of exercise and 30 minutes of reading or planning his day. But, and this is a big but, for the whole thing to work, there were 3 critical rules. Rule number 1, no negotiation. You wake up at 5 a.m. every single day. Yes, even weekends. Rule 2, protect your sleep. That means being in bed by 9 p.m. to get enough rest. And rule 3, probably the most important, push through the pain. The first week is going to be awful, but it takes about 90 days to really form a new identity. So the big question is, did Thomas stick with it? Did it actually work? Well, this next part tracks his journey, from the initial pain all the way to a promotion. Let's see how the theory played out in real life. So, day 1 was just pure pain. His body screamed at him, his mind made every excuse in the book, but he pushed through and started learning Excel from free tutorials. Then, around day 21, something clicked. The habits started to form. By day 60, his confidence was soaring. And then, on day 87, he got the breakthrough, an offer for an accounting job with double his old salary. I mean, just think about that. He went from watching free YouTube videos on his phone to a brand new career in less than 3 months. It's just such a powerful picture of what can happen when you really invest in yourself during those quiet morning hours.
And this brings us to the most important part of all of this: your morning, your future. Because what if the gap between where you are right now and where you want to be, what if it isn't about talent? What if it's really about time? Thomas's story sure makes you think it's all about how you use your mornings.
So here's the question I want to leave you with. If you decided to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow, what would you build in that first magic hour? A new skill? A side project? What part of your future would you start working on? And if you're feeling inspired to give this a shot, here are 3 super simple, practical steps you can take tonight. Step 1, set that alarm for 5 a.m. and put it across the room so you have to get up. Step 2, decide on your one thing you're going to focus on. And step 3, commit to that 9 p.m. bedtime. That's it. That's how you start.
We'll leave you with this final thought from the new and improved Thomas. Success is not a destination. It is a daily practice. It's really a choice you make every single morning. Your future self is out there waiting. The only question left is, will you show up to meet them?